really like it's all about building the excitement and getting people ready
Yeah.
to go talk about it.
That's a caption.
And
You created a caption right there. That's
Right.
that's incredible. Like, you have to build excitement. I think,
That's it.
oftentimes that is lost. That art is lost, and it's usually lost because those that are in the R&D department have spent so much time doing that when it's done, they're like, okay, we're done. Like, we're forgetting that you still need to build that excitement. We live below the fold. We live underneath those incredible brands.
What is the vision? Right? So like there's a story, but then it's like, where are you trying to go? If it's compelling enough, then you start to get people to believe in it.
Today we have an awesome special guest. We're really excited. It's a topic that came over from our predictions episode. Mm-hmm. Carlo, I know you're excited for this one, so why don't you go ahead and introduce Jenna?
Yes, I'm excited about this because Jenna is a homie of mine. We'll probably have to tell a story of how we met and how we kind of connected, but we got an awesome guest here. We have Jenna from STAHLS. I believe what's your role? Commercial, I was checking it out early. Commercial sales account executive, is that right? Is that the role?
You got it, yeah.
There you go, nailed it. So excited. Obviously STAHLS is one of the biggest players when it comes to transfers, and as you were showing me, also some hardware and things of that nature as far as machinery goes. So yeah, happy to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm really excited to be here. I feel like this has been a long time coming. We've been talking about collaborating for podcasts and video and stuff. So I'm glad we're finally getting to it.
Yeah, I hate to jump right in and hear your whole story, but I don't know as well like the story of the brand STAHLS, and even if you want to take it back like on your personal background as well. We like to go deep. There's no like time restrictions here, so like what's the origin story of the company, and then if you want to follow into kind of your background, we'd love to hear it all.
Yeah, okay, so I'll start with the background of STAHLS a little bit. So Ted Stahl, who is the owner of the company, actually built it in 1932.
Wow.
He actually started it. Yeah. So he actually was just at one of the recent trade shows, and people were just kind of lining up at the booth to get a chance to get a picture with him, shake his hand. He's been in the industry for a really long time, and a lot of people respect that background that he has and all the knowledge that comes along with it. So, he started in his garage, cutting twill letters and numbers. So that's where the company started.
And I guess, Carlo, that we just went to lunch just before this, and we were talking about like, okay, what's really the goal of building a company, right? Why build a company, right? And I guess like the end goal is to do what he did, is like to build a successful company and a moat around it, and one that eventually runs on its own, hires great people, and grows a legacy, right? Like I think this is the perfect story that we were just talking about.
We live in a world where it's all startups, and everyone wants to start up, be in business for 2 years, and then sell
for $1 jillion.
Sell for 10x, 20x multiple. But our type of industry, the older classic ones, and hearing a story like that, it's like, it's definitely longevity.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he just kind of got into a position where he started mastering the craft, and it just one thing led to the next. Now we're known for the number one selling heat transfers and heat press equipment. And I think he did a really good job of building out that brand awareness, which is key, right? Got to get your brand out there, got to get people believing in it, and backing it with quality product. So that's what he did, and he's still here acquiring other companies that are doing just that, such as Fulfill Engine that we just acquired.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Fulfill Engine is bringing heat print on demand to life. We live in a very fast forward industry. Everybody wants that Amazon turn time, which can be a struggle. But with this technology, we're able to actually streamline that whole process in production facilities with the use of a heat press and direct to film heat transfers. Nice. That way you can set up stores, get that print on demand business without having to turn away those small jobs that a lot of us used to do because the quick turn and the amount of the order was just not worth it at that time. So this is really helping bring that to life in the industry.
Nice.
I got a firsthand experience of you operating the machine at what show was that? The Printed United show. I show everyone that video. Remember, I videotaped that to show the team. But we'll have some questions about STAHLS. But tell us a little bit about your background. Like, how did you? Again, like this is not an industry most people get out of college and like, yeah, let me get to the apparel decorating world. So it's always an interesting story when it comes to that. How did you get into it?
Oh yeah, no, I was in college. I graduated with an accounting degree. This was not in my line of sight at all. It actually worked out because I needed a part-time job through college. So yeah, I found this opportunity through our fulfillment center. They had a little office upstairs. At the time, it was called CAD Cut Direct. Mm-hmm. And it was a huge focus on just selling heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl, just, it has that negative connotation naturally, but at this time, we really hit the ground running and being innovative in that space and creating a product that was just as durable and just as soft and had a good feel to it that you could barely tell the difference between that and a screen print, right? Like that was the goal. And we reached that goal and it just kind of blew up. So I started out, unfortunately, as an outbound call rep where I was calling some pretty upset customers that had used some old product in the past, and I had to pitch them on a new product. But ultimately, that's how I learned the ins and outs of the industry and the troubles that a lot of our clients were dealing with, right? So how we could provide a solution for that. Fast forward 11 years later, here I am. I am a boomerang, though. I did leave for a hot minute to do a promotional products job, which was also just a local company that was hiring at the time. But within a year and a half, I bounced back.
And where is the headquarters?
Headquarters is in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have, it can get confusing. No, so a lot of different locations. Headquarters is in Detroit. We do a lot of our custom operation there. So a lot of those transfers that you get from us, it's coming from that area, especially with you guys in Chicago. Now we have two other
No.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we have two other locations, Arizona and Ohio, so that we can get quicker turns for those out in the West. And then we have the Pennsylvania location, which is where I started.
So four separate, basically, production facilities.
Correct.
Wow. And each one of them in some way, like how big, like square footage? Big?
That's a great question. I don't even have a guess. I just know they're massive.
Yeah, I would guess. No, we're obviously always very interested in that. Like how do you run multiple facilities? We're trying to figure out two, better yet, 4 and across the entire country. And how do you connect those together? That's like always, top of mind for us.
Yeah, I leave that to the professional in that department. Definitely can't wrap my brain around that. But we'll definitely have to get you guys out for a tour, I think.
That'd be awesome.
I think it would benefit both of you guys, even just to see not only a production floor tour, but also our Hotronics. Everything is USA made. So we have our manufacturing done right in Pennsylvania as well, in Carmichael's.
Nice.
So maybe even a tour of Hotronics would be worth it for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
For sure. Yeah, we would love to come out. Now, one thing I think about when I think of STAHLS, and obviously Rich and I have been in the industry for too long. Yeah, 15 years, I think now. Obviously, we've always known of STAHLS. But when you have a company that's been around that long, and I know that you've been doing a lot of like collaborations, a lot of marketing, a lot of events. Like, how does a company like that, since you've been there, how does one stay relevant, right? When you've been in the industry that long, what are some things that you see that STAHLS does well to to keep up with the competition, to keep up with the demand? Anything that stands out to you?
Yeah. Well, I get this question asked a lot, actually, and it's hard to boil it down to just one, because the company is known for staying innovative, um, taking trends, analyzing those to make sure whenever we launch a product, it's going to be worth it for us. So, for example, we've analyzed chenille patches for quite some time. And we just wanted to make
Same.
sure it was going to be worth it to, bring that product on and have success with it. And once we've, forecasted what that looks like, we've decided, it's definitely worth it. So we're starting the beta testing now. And that falls in line with a lot of the other embroidered patches and leather patches and faux suede, you name it. We're adding it as long as, it makes sense to our customer. So we listen heavily to what our customers need and try to act on that in the best way possible, and efficiently as possible. And then, just staying innovative too. Our heat presses have done a lot for us in this industry. They offer a lot of solutions, and, efficiency in the print side of things that a lot of other heat presses don't, which has allowed us to stay, pretty relevant to a lot of people. Heat pressing wasn't always the number one choice, but we're seeing that as an added piece of equipment that everybody's continuously bringing into their production facility. So it's been helpful to work with customers and understand their production to a full to see where our products make the most sense and what we should be doing to keep the industry growing.
Yeah, I like how you said you guys are analyzing the Chanel patches, right? Like, so you guys, I'm guessing your team, a lot like Michelle and I, you guys are in like the pilot mode always, right? Like you're always in test mode. Now, my question is though, like, so once you decide that like, okay, this works for our manufacturing, we believe that the customer is asking for this, it's a good idea, it serves a need, we can make money doing it. We figured out like all the logic and everything. Now, how do you get your team to like get on board with that? How do they understand how to sell it? How do they understand how it works? Like what is your process for, okay, you're in pilot all the time, you're in like R&D, but now you have to roll this out to the team. What is that process?
Yeah, so we like to do campaigns. Everything comes from the top down, right? So if you believe in a product, your salespeople or your marketing people, whatever department you're in, they're going to believe in it too. So we like to build a lot of excitement internally. And a recent campaign that I just had the opportunity of working closely with Lane 7 on whenever we were getting ready to launch our faux suede patches. We did a trend kit. We picked our top 100 clients and our sales reps called them. And prior to calling them, they had training, obviously, on what the trend is, why it's relevant, why this is something they should be implementing. And we got them excited about it. They got the kit. They got some cool sweatshirts in there, T-shirts, got to see some faux suede, screen print transfers, just really like, it's all about building the excitement and getting people ready to go talk about it.
That's a caption. You created a caption right there. That's incredible. Like you have to build excitement. I think oftentimes that is lost. That art is lost, and it's usually lost because those that are in the R&D department have spent so much time doing that when it's done, they're like, okay, we're done. Like we're forgetting that you still need to build that excitement. So. You nailed it with that. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that there's always that wow factor we like seeing from clients too. So it's getting them to that wow moment that they'll have with their customer because they love seeing that. They like showing a new product. And we make sure, there's a lot in the arsenal to choose from. It can be a little overwhelming sometimes, but Once you have that wow moment with your customer, you want to continue having those moments. So I think that's another thing that drives them.
For sure. One thing I was going to ask you, I'm sure you get asked this a lot too, but with like transfers, and I think the same thing goes with DTG. I know for us on our side, when we're selling as manufacturers and we pitch to a customer, we're like, you know what, this will be really awesome in a transfer, or this will look awesome digital. The first thing they think about, there's a common misconception, right? That it's like low quality or it's poor quality. And that may have been the fact, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And I find myself and even the sales team, we have to like try to educate and tell the client that it's come a long way. Are there any like tactics or strategies that you guys use to fight that common misconception?
Yeah, so we're big on education, of course, because we've come like that's all we do, right? We're heat transfers, heat press company. So it's hard to combat that a little bit, but we're heavy on the education on, what our wash testing looks like, how it holds up and how it feels, right? Those are the main concerns. And we work with clients, such as, let's say, for example, Noble. That's a pretty well-known brand who we've worked with for the CrossFit Games. And they used our direct-to-film heat transfers, Ultracolor Max, on all of the uniforms that the athletes wore. And to bring that to market, they had to test it at 250 washes. So while we'll bring it to market at 50 because that's your industry standard, we have clients that are doing way beyond what we stop. So it's durable, it lasts. I always tell people to use that success story in your pitch if you're talking heat transfers. And then it always helps to have that sample if you're meeting with them in person, showing them the quality of it. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't feel like plastic. It's not a sticker. Like, if you can feel it and get it in their hands, they'll see the value of it.
Right. Yeah.
You almost have to teach the customer what their expectation of quality is.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Teaching. Yeah. Teaching is a dirty word sometimes, but you have to do it the right way so that they don't feel like they're being educated, but they are being educated at the same time.
Yeah, I was also interested in, I feel like STAHLS has always been on the forefront of technology. Is that a big thing in like the culture of the organization? I mean, I can remember, like, there's actually a cool thing that you can do. You can there's a website to go backwards, like a historical timeline of a website. I would actually love to do that. Maybe we could layer it on top, Michelle. And I would love to see like the progression of the STAHLS website. But I know it's incredible, as it is today. And I remember it being really great, like, and on the forefront 10 years ago. Is the culture of the organization very tech forward, or what is your like positioning? How did that just happen?
I feel like tech forward is a strong word. I feel like we're always trying to reach the expectation, especially when it comes to our website. Now, again, it always boils down to ease of use to our customer. So sometimes you log on to stahls.com and if you're used to going to the website, you know exactly where you're going. And if you're new to it, you get a little lost. So we try to make that as easy as possible. But, with uploading artwork and being able to see real lifetime garments right there with your artwork dropped on it, that's something that we're trying to, work to bring to life. Now, a little more tech forward, I would say, would be in our heat press technology.
Okay.
So what Carlo was mentioning earlier was the ProPlace IQ. So that's actually a projection system that is hooked up to the dual air fusion that is implemented with, your back end, wherever you're receiving an order and what that order looks like. That artwork can be projected right down onto the garment. So definitely tech forward there. We're always trying to make our website easier to use, but it
I've
feels
always
like we
thought it was
can
great.
never.
So yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
I
good.
like that. I like taking that perspective. We feel the same way. As like, you're always thinking that something's next. With without necessarily stepping back for a minute and saying like, what, style points are one thing, but like, does it work great? Is it reliable? Do I know how to navigate it? Is the e-commerce transaction work well? I give you guys, high tens every single time on that. So I think it's
Thank you. I'm
far
gonna
better than
need
you
a
think.
clip of this
We'll
for
clip,
to share
Michelle.
on our
We'll,
social.
We'll clip whatever.
yep,
But
we'll keep it all up.
on that same note, what is the forward looking of like the transfer? I know you mentioned like the Chanel patches, but what is projected for the future? What are you seeing for 2024 that's hot in like the transfer world?
I don't think direct to film is going anywhere anytime soon. Hopefully, outside of us, we're starting to see a little bit more efficiency in, people implementing direct to film themselves. I feel like it's been a little bit troubling to folks that decided to just bring that print equipment in and try to maintain it. Maintenance is not great. The support is not great. So I hope to see a better future for folks that are actually, doing the direct to film printing in house. For us, we're going to continue adding to that line. We want to see, dye blocking. We want to see special effects. So that's a main priority for us. And then continuing to build on, the silicone, the dimensional transfers, anything raised has always been, or hasn't always been, but more recently has been a huge trend. So just making sure we're getting that out in front of people so that they can, increase the perceived value of the items that they're printing.
We were our last episode was on predictions, and we talked about rhinestones. And I know you and I have had a conversation. We even brought our brother Nick in.
Rhinestones.
It's like I know
They're
everyone
hot.
like
They're hot.
when we released the episode, a bunch of screen printers were like, "Oh man, I hope not."
hope not.
Like, I was
Sorry.
like, "Please
It's
don't,
here."
please don't go back to rhinestones." But are you seeing that too? Are you
It
seeing
100%
Right?
is back.
100%? See,
I'm not mad.
I
I'm not mad at the
blame
bling bling.
Barbie. I blame the Barbie movie. I feel like that has pushed rhinestones forward in a major way.
anything bling bling, we're down.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to break out of being a minimalist. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, less rhinestone.
yeah.
That's funny. Well, the last thing I had for you, Jenna, I feel like since we've met and we've been kind of vibing at different shows and stuff, it's inspired me, and this might be even advice for our audience. Our audience it comprises of 5 people, my 3 daughters and Rich's 2 daughters. So
Nobody over 5.
no one over 5. No, but the audience are like our printers, industry people, and it's something I always say is like, we want to push ourselves to be part of the community more and be out at these shows and participate. And even the last few things that we've done, we collaborated at that last show at Printed United with Lane 7, our other homie.
Huge success, by the way.
Right. That's what I
Was
want to talk about.
absolutely awesome.
So why do you think that was such a success, and what benefits come from collaborating like that? And what success did you see come from that thing that we did together?
Brand awareness is everything. Great. So if you can shed light on your brand and things that you are capable of doing in a unique way, you will be remembered, right? It's an experience. You want to give your customers something that they're going to remember you by, and activations happens to be it for us. But we can't do it alone. We need partners like Lane 7 or Bella Canvas or Threadfast, and partners like you guys who have a phenomenal eye for design. We want to bring to life what heat print technology is capable of and what heat print on demand is capable of. And do it in a way that is not so cookie cutter. When you go to a trade show, it's just trade show booths and sales reps, and they're great for having some of those conversations and that you need to have, or learning about a new piece of equipment that you need to implement. But There needs to be a little bit of light. There needs to be something that makes it fun and gets people having a different conversation or networking with someone they may have never had a chance to meet before just because they were there having a good time. So one of the best parts of that for me, because I feel like this industry is so broad, but it fits a certain demographic. I had a college student come up to me and say, this is the only thing here that resonates with me. And I'm really glad that this was here because everything is a little bit too, I don't know what I want to say here. I don't want to offend anybody, but
it's those lifesaver mints, right? Like those white circular mints. Like it doesn't matter what trade show you go to. You could go to like a construction trade show. You could go to merch trade show, screen printing. Everybody has the same lifesaver mints. It's unbelievable.
You're not wrong.
How do they come? Where did the mints come from?
Oh, everyone's walking around with a mouth on them, so it's actually it's spread around evenly for everybody. But
that coffee breath,
Yeah, okay, now I get it.
Now you get it. No, you're right though. Like that activation that we did, I think even showed you chose the right garment. We did the design for it, put it on the right piece, the right transfer. I don't know if you saw the activation, Rich, but they kind of designed it to be like a record store kind of theme because it was in Atlanta. And yeah, I mean, when I rolled up to check it out, there were no shirts left; they were all gone. Which means like people came up and they wanted them, and
Sweet.
They kind of sold out of them the first day.
First day, yeah. We next day aired some more, and then they were also all gone. So it was a success for sure.
That's a
Nice,
success. Well,
nice.
you know us, we're 100% down for any collaboration. I see some things in our future coming up. We have ISS show, PPAI, so we'll be there, and maybe even something for what were we talking about earlier? South by Southwest.
South by.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rich and I.
Let's bring it down to Austin.
Let's do it.
I had just one more quick thing, slightly sidebar, but we've been talking more and more about business, not just specifically about merchandise, but like just business in a whole seems to resonate quite well with our audience. What is like one thing that is special about your organization? Maybe it's the culture, maybe it's the people, maybe anything. What is that like? What do you really take pride in when it comes to the place that you work?
I would say the openness to be connected more with our customer. A lot of companies are just focused on selling something, getting it out the door, and then that kind of being the end of the conversation, where we really want to build partnerships more than anything, and be that extra thing in a print shop's arsenal that they need to get a new client or get a job done, right? So that's something that the company has built, like the whole culture of the company is set up that way. So that's something I value, makes my job easy, right? To be in that culture because I'm a people person. So it's nice to be around in a company that is the same way.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think that's really good advice for other people trying to build great brands as well. It's like just having that connection. It's ditching the pitch, right? It's not like this constant sale thing. It's actually building strong relationships. So yeah, thanks for that. It was great. Sweet.
Awesome.
All right.
You
Thanks a lot.
Crushed it, Jenna.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.